All right, this one's actually probably going to be a little bit short today, but I'm hoping we can have some back and forth afterwards, and you guys might get a little bit of clarity in your business. Most people, when they have a job, see, maybe I'll stop on. Okay, so most people, when they have a job or in your everyday life, we all pretty much like for things to stay status quo. We like everything to stay nice and stable, nice and normal. We don't like sudden changes. We don't like when plans change all of a sudden, or if we have a routine that gets messed up. We kind of go chaotic when that happens, right? So a little bit of clarity for your business is most typical businesses will never be status quo. Even businesses like Target or Starbucks or your big name businesses will never be status quo. But because they are such a big business, most of the time the employees don't ever feel the effects when their business goes into highs and lows. But you being the business owners of your own personal business, you're going to see those effects of highs and lows. So hopefully I can kind of talk you through some things tonight. So I got out my daughter's dry erase board. So here we have status quo. We're going along. Our business is doing pretty good. We're in a routine of doing Facebook parties and reaching out to the same type of customers. And we are comfortable with people, like we don't really get out of our comfort zone. We're talking to the same type of customers. We're placing their, follow-up orders. Everything's really comfortable. So what happens when we stay in this zone for too long? We are going to go into a zone of disruption, which looks a little bit like this. So it's a dip. Right now, probably most of you on this call, or most of us on our teams, have felt this in January. We are coming off of December. It was a really high month where, November, December, everybody's buying Christmas gifts. They're really, really working with you on your sales. Your business was probably very high, or at least status quo, because your regular customers were shopping with you on a regular basis. January happens and you have a little bit of a dip. Your business was disrupted because a season changed. So during this season of zone of disruption, this is kind of when people lose hope. This is when you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Nothing I'm trying is working. You have that self-doubt that this isn't for me type feeling. I'm failing at everything. Who has felt that? Because all of us have felt that, and probably are semi-feeling that at times. I felt it in January. Like there's always that, oh my gosh, what am I going to do next? Because this is where I'm stuck. So when you're in this zone, this is the time where you have to kind of take a step back and look outside of your feelings of why you're feeling like that, and be like, what is wrong? Like, what has caused me to have this dip? Is it a season change? Is it something that I was doing in my business that maybe isn't working anymore? So we obviously had status quo with, or even kind of a peak with COVID. Our sales boomed. People were shopping like crazy because they were stuck at home. They wanted their homes to smell good, and they were shopping online like crazy. So we had a huge peak. And then we kind of got into status quo in 2021. Where we were kind of still in that same time frame. But now we're kind of getting into, okay, the things that were working during COVID with, everybody was online, Facebook parties was fun, that type of thing. Not to say it's not still working, but we're in this time frame of, okay, what's not working for my business? What do I need to reevaluate and figure out what I need to do differently? Maybe there's something, a little tweak that I can make in my business that will help me move into the next zone. So the next zone is actually called zone of adaptation. And it's kind of looking like this. That's kind of what it looks like. Because in this zone, you're trying things. You're going to probably fail at it. People aren't going to respond to it the way that you want them to respond to it. You're trying new things and you're not quite sure if it's going to work. So you have to kind of backtrack a little bit and, oh, that worked and oh, that didn't. And I created this flyer and nobody liked it. But hey, if I add this certain thing into it, then it catches someone's attention. Or maybe I posted it here, but then that didn't catch anybody's attention, but I texted them and that did. So you're kind of going back and forth and trying to figure out what works. So this is the time frame that a lot of people actually, I know a lot of people feel like they fail in here, which they do, but this right here is the most challenging spot, because this is where you're actually trying things. You evaluated in this area, and now you're actually trying things. And so what happens when we try with things and we fail? We get discouraged and we don't want to stick with it. So during this time is where we have to really know our why, which is why Cincy preaches so much about your goals and your why, because during this time is where you have to know why you're staying committed. Because in our business, it's extremely easy just to say, oh, I'll just go work my 8-to-5 job. I don't have to do this. This is just extra side money. And it can be, but it can be so much more if you allow it to, and if you stay committed, and if you go through these hard, challenging times. Because what happens is when you stay committed during this time frame, of course, you move into an area of better performance, which is going up. So the thing about it is, most people feel like when you get your business established, that you're going to reach this point where you're going to have this huge customer base and you're going to reach a point of status quo where you don't really have to worry and you don't really have to try new things. And, people just come to you and want to shop all the time. But the thing of it is every single business in the world is going to have these dips, these up and downs. And so it's during these time frames where you have to take a step back and look at, okay, where am I at in this graph? And when you can look at it in that bigger perspective, then you can be like, okay, am I at a time frame where I have to tell myself, okay, I'm trying new things and I'm failing at it, but I know that if I'm planting seeds now and I stay committed to it, then 3 to 6 months down the road, I'm going to see some results from it. Sometimes it may even be like a year down the road or 2 or 3 years down the road. If you talk to some people in Cincy, they will tell you that everybody has a different path. Some people excel extremely fast, and some people it's taken 10 years to get where they've gotten. But because they've stayed with it, they're making $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 paychecks. I think pretty much all of us would probably love to make those kind of paychecks. It's not something that just happens to the tippy top people. It's those people that have done the most basic things that Cincy requires of us, which is to get smells under people's noses, to share the opportunity with people, and stay consistent. So one thing that I want you guys to think about, if you were going to go on to Amazon and look up, I'll use vacuums for example. If you were going to go look up vacuums, what is the first thing that you would probably go to when you pulled up like 3 of the top vacuums? It's probably going to be the reviews, right? Because you're going to get the most honest reviews. You're going to get things that people have tried and done and seen. And then you're going to make your choice on if you want to buy that particular vacuum. Well, the same thing goes with people shopping with you. Sometimes when we first start out with our business, a lot of times people are sitting back looking to see what you're going to do with this business. They're waiting to see if you're going to take this seriously, if you're going to make the time and investment into it. They're going to want to go with the people that are all in. And when I say all in, I'm not saying that you have to do Cincy 24/7. That's not what I mean by it. But I can tell you, I've had customers come to me and say, look, I've got a Cincy consultant in my town, but I choose to buy from you because you are present. You make it known that you take this business seriously. And what I mean by seriously is I'm consistent in showing up. Either it's by sending them something in the mail, it's by posting on Facebook, it's by shooting them a text message when something new comes out. I stay in their forefront of their business. And that is one thing where you may say that, oh, well, there's a lot of Cincy consultants out there. There is a lot of Cincy consultants out there that do not share their business. They may be a Cincy consultant, but that does not mean that they're out there sharing as a business. So, is there anybody that's willing to share what zone that you think that you might be in your business in this graph? Anybody brave enough? Sam, I'm going to call you out. Where do you think you're at on this graph?
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. I would say that I'm in the squiggly line section.
So the zone of adaptation.
Yes, because I was in the dip down section of the graph, right? And figured out what I thought was going wrong, what I wanted to try to do differently, plans, goals, all the things. Now I'm in the squiggly line section and I'm trying all the new things. So I feel like with the squiggly line section, I feel like that section takes a long time because you're going to try things, and it's so easy to try things one time. And I do this all the time myself, but you try things one time and it didn't work. You didn't get instant results from that different, Facebook party template or that different message that you sent someone, and you just trash it. You're like, oh, that didn't work, where really you have to give it a good shot. You have to give it a couple of months of doing that same thing to see if it's actually going to work before you trash it. So I feel like you're right. That section is the most challenging because it's so easy to be like, oh, I messaged that person and asked her if she wanted to do a party and she said no. Guess nobody wants to do parties, right? It's so easy to like get into that mindset versus like, okay, let me just keep going with this new verbiage that I figured out and see what happens. So that section I feel like takes the longest, and I agree is definitely the most challenging because you definitely have to stick with it to give it a fair shot before just saying, okay, this tactic or whatever didn't work.
Yeah, I actually think for me, that part is the squiggly adaptation part of it is the hardest because it's the area where I have to get uncomfortable with things. It's the area where it's things that I really don't want to do, and maybe I haven't tried, and it's like 3 years into Cincy and I don't want to do fundraisers, but I know if I maybe try fundraisers, it will work. Or there's something that I'm very uncomfortable about that I have to try to put myself out there to try. And I'm really comfortable in status quo. I like repetitive stuff. And so the squiggly line area is definitely very uncomfortable for me. Is there anybody else that wants to say where they're at in the graph? Or maybe I could do a poll. Is anybody comfortable sharing? If you're not comfortable,
I'll
let me
share. I would say I'm probably right before the squiggly lines. I'm still trying to figure things out where I want to go.
I like it.
That's where I'm at.
Amy, you want to share? You unmute yourself.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably where Tamara.
Yeah.
That's for this one. Yeah. Still trying to figure out what works and where I'm going.
Okay.
I mean, things have been good, like you said, November, December, and then
yeah.
But it's starting to feel better.
Yeah. It's really easy to feel like we come off that high and it's really easy to feel like I actually don't know what I'm doing with my business. Like I felt like I had my head on my shoulders and all of a sudden you're like, I feel like a brand new consultant. I don't know what I'm doing. It's really easy to feel like that. What about you, Bridget?
Well, I'm still like just 4 months into it. So I still feel like I'm in a comfort zone. I'm still gathering, new clients and things like that. So, but I'm anticipating the dip and it's starting to worry me. So.
Well, don't worry too much about the dip. I think that that's one thing that you'll learn a lot with Cincy is, and I know a lot of people kind of shrug it off because I feel like that's the world we live in, but Cincy preaches a lot about mindset. And the reason why they do that is it makes a huge impact. And that's why I wanted to show the graph, is because if you know where you're at kind of in the graph, you can almost talk yourself out of those thoughts. Like, I'm in a slump right now, but I know the graph. Like, I know the graph. If I really evaluate what's going on and I figure what I can try differently, then I'm going to move into the squiggly lines, and then I'm going to move into the high performance. So that's okay. Predict it, but have a good mindset and be prepared for it. I like it. Brittany, do you want to share where you might be at? Sure. Can you unmute yourself? I don't know if I can unmute you.
Calm down. Sorry.
It's okay.
He's playing his game.
We have kids.
So I'm also like, I'm 5 months into this. So I'm still like new. Oh, sorry, my phone's dying now. So I'm still like getting into the hang of it, but it was like really good takeoff. And then it definitely has slumped over the past like 2 months. But now I'm like, I'm getting my first party of the year. So like trying to get into the squiggly.
Good.
I'm like right there at it. Like,
but how
I've
good does
also
it feel
been
to get
figuring out like how to go from like fall to spring catalog
yeah,
and like show it to my customers and get them interested. So I'm hoping that doing a little bit of that and like a little bit of, oh, look at all this stuff gets them kind of going again.
and how good did it feel to get that first party when you're in that dip? Like, doesn't it feel like really good?
Yes. And I just started it yesterday and I got my first order today on the party. So I was like, woo!
I love it.
It was really
All right,
exciting.
Misty, what about you? Are you in the squiggly line or are you high on performance?
So I was on a live and was late. I need to see said graph
Okay.
we're talking
Okay.
about.
All right. Sorry. And Lisa's here too.
Shut
Okay.
up, Sam.
So most normally we're in status quo our life. We don't like changes. We go about our business. We get comfortable. We do the same thing over and over and over again. And then you experience a dip. This is going into the zone of disruption. So we just had a dip because we came out of November, December high season. And now we entered into January and we're like, oh gosh, what are we doing? We don't know what we're doing. Like, it's a whole new season change. Your whole business is in disruption.
Yep,
But
that's where I'm
then,
at. Yep.
no, you may be surprised. Just wait a minute. But
Okay.
then you take a step back, you look at what's wrong, what's not working, you make a plan, and then you move into our squiggly line area, which is the zone of adaptation. This zone is where you're trying things and you're failing and you're trying things again and you're failing and you're trying things again. And then we move into performance.
No. Okay.
Want to
So we're
reevaluate?
like on the brink of coming out of destruction into the squiggly lines is where we're at.
Well, looky there. How many of us are in that spot right now? So I think that y'all can pretty much tell. Oh, Kristen, we have you on the camera. Do you want to share? No. Okay. That's okay. I know you would. All right, Lisa, where do you think that you might be in the graph? You have to unmute yourself. I don't think I can unmute you. I can't. It won't let me. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go. Sorry, it wasn't working on there, so I had to go to my phone. Anyway, so where am I in the little squiggly?
Yeah. Do you think you're status quo? Are you in kind of a dip? Are you in figuring out stage? Or are you in high performance?
Well, for the past few months, I've been like hitting just right where I wanted to be. So now, of course, February is like, and January actually took me by surprise. I did pretty well for January. I wasn't expecting that. So now February is like, okay, now I need to work on getting that momentum and the excitement going on the new catalog and stuff. I kind of was delayed a little bit. I kind of had a family situation I was dealing with. So now I'm just kind of just now trying to get back on track and stuff like that. So had a little delay, but
So you had a disruption personal life. So your disruptions
Yeah.
don't always come business. Sometimes your disruptions come in personal life too. So you may be actually all the way at performance, not even in status quo. You may be rocking at your business, but you have something personal happen. And that's going to make you go into that dip. But it's when you're in that dip that I wanted you guys to see, like, that's the time where you have to kind of take a step back, deal with family problems, but also during that time frame, reevaluate your business and how you may need to adjust your business to fit that disruption that's going on in your family. So I don't know your situation, but you know, if you have a family member that gets sick where you have to be in the hospital all the time, or, you know, maybe your kids, you move and you have to go to a different school, like a big disruption like that is where you have to reevaluate your business and figure out how are you going to adjust your business into your new lifestyle, because that's the blessing of Scentsy, is that you get to choose when you work it. You know, there's no boss telling you when to show up. There's no one telling you the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, which is why that squiggly line is the hardest part to be in, because it is so comfortable for people to go to an 8 to 5 and be told exactly what to do, what the right answer is. And with Scentsy, there is no right answer, because what may work for me is not going to work for you. And what works for you is not going to work for me, or it may work for everybody for 6 months. And then we have to reevaluate and change our game plan. And a lot of people, that's very uncomfortable. But in that uncomfortable area is where you have so much self-growth as a person. So that's why a lot of people, like when you're listening to Scentsy consultants and they start talking about self-growth, that is because they've all experienced these dips where you're down and you're not sure what you're going to do. And the only person that picked yourself up and continue going was yourself. That is the only person that can get you out of that dip. Everybody around you can help lift you up and give you ideas, but you're the only person that makes the choice to continue to the next step. And that's where that self-growth happens, to where you start to learn, oh, this is actually making me a better person, not just a better business person, but a better person, because you overcame things that you didn't think that you could overcome, because none of us as humans like uncomfortable positions. So when we grow out of that uncomfortable position, then we excel. So, okay, I felt like this was going to go short. It kind of did. But I know this wasn't like PRV or recruiting this month around, but I really wanted you guys to see this, because I feel like we are in that dip. And so if you can kind of say, this is okay. Everybody on this phone call was almost in the same exact position. Some of us have been here for 5 years. Some of us have been here for 5 months. And we're all kind of in that same spot. Now, if you were a week or two in watching this call back, then you're probably on the high performance end of it, because everything's brand new for you. You have new customers, you have that new excitement, you have all that fire going, where a lot of us that are 5 years in, we have to take a little bit of time to reevaluate and get that high performance going. We have to light our own fire. We have to let the people around us light that fire for us. So, you're probably higher on that performance, but everybody on this call was in the same area on this graph. And that's because it's normal to be there this time of year. And so that's why this time of year is when you can't allow yourself to be in that negative mindset and allow yourself to give up and give up on yourself. Because, like, oh, I forgot your name, Lisa. No, it wasn't Lisa. Who had the party? Amy had the party, because like Amy said, I don't feel like it was Amy. I don't know who had the party. Somebody had a party on here. But whoever had the party, like she said, it was exciting to get the party. And that feeling that you get when you get a yes is so encouraging, especially if you fight depression or anxiety or any type of negative thoughts. When you have someone say yes and you have an overcoming moment, it is so good for you and your positive outlook on life, because you did that. No one else did it but you. And so during this dip and this figuring out stage, I really highly suggest to take time to reevaluate your business, figure out what worked these past few months, what didn't work these past few months, what you didn't enjoy. If there was something that you didn't enjoy, write it down and be like, okay, is this something I have to do for Cincy to be successful? If it's not, scratch it, throw it out the door, figure out something else. If it is something that's important, like Facebook parties or some type of partying, take it, break it down and see, how can I do this that I would enjoy it? You don't have to do it like everybody else does it. You don't need someone telling you exactly what to say. Look at it and figure out, how would I enjoy doing this if I was on the receiving end of this situation? You know, do I want someone texting me every week? Do I want to be a part of the VIP group? You know, take a while and just reevaluate those things. But just during this dip, like, take that time to figure out what you want to do with your business, and then find something that lights your spark. You know, you're the only one that can do that. So if it means that you listen to a training a day or a training a week, or whatever might light your sparks. Not everybody's a training person. I personally have to listen to them because it gets me fired up. It gets me excited that I can do this, even when I don't have any ideas running through my head. So I suggest trainings, but I don't know if Sam or Misty maybe has an idea of something for you guys. Yeah, Sam's still on here. We added a person. Of something that you guys can do to light your spark, but light your spark and stay consistent in what you're doing, because we're all in the same position. And I guarantee you, in a month or two, March, April, you're going to have that higher peak that's going to happen. And you're going to be glad that you stuck with it and that you didn't give up on yourself. Misty, Sam, do y'all have any thoughts or suggestions? I'm like putting y'all on notice.
If you are struggling to find your business and you feel like you're destructive, an accountability partner is an amazing thing. Find someone that you relate to, somebody that you can conversate with, and you both are holding each other accountable. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if one person is hitting the tennis racket and the ball and the other person's not showing up, that is not your accountability partner. You're going to do the same thing that they're doing. So having those conversations, which is why in-person events are so important. And I know that a lot of people are bummed about World Tour not being in person, but we still keep those retreats going and we still show up for each other. That is where you are going to find people that you can relate to. You're having a conversation versus we're all sitting here and I can't go, oh, I like her. Oh, I like her. Oh, I want to talk to her, because some people can't do that. Some people have severe anxiety and severe anti-humaning properties, and they don't want to reach out to someone because they're afraid. And that's completely okay. You can come sit next to me. I talk to everybody, but you have to find that person. Me, Rachel, and Sam talk every single day, except for sometimes on the weekends. And then I have anxiety because I haven't talked to them all weekend. But when I'm literally at my lowest and crying myself to death, those are the two people that I know that when I want to work my Cincy business can help turn my negative mindset of what's going on in my life into something positive, and we can talk about Cincy and we can do things. You have to find someone within this business that wants to go hard as much as you want to go hard. If that's 5 miles an hour, that's cool. If it's 50 miles an hour and we're trying to hit director numbers and we're trying to get you promoted, you've got to find someone that wants that same speed and attach to them like leeches. Because when you find that, you're going to enjoy it. It doesn't mean you have to talk every single day. Me and Sam and Rachel didn't do that. Me and Rachel talked every day. Now we video chat every day. We added Sam to the mix from SFR. Y'all, I met Rachel at World Tour last year. I didn't know her from Adam. My director, was like, go to World Tour, do it. Go to Alabama. I drove 6.5 hours. I met Rachel and then we started conversating and I'm getting help. My business took off because I wanted what she had. I wanted to hit director. I did it in 7 months with her help. I followed lead with what she was doing, what she was suggesting. We don't tell you guys this to say, okay, well, I hope this helps you. It's what's worked for us. And so when we say, hey, this is what I did, or hey, reach out to these people, don't just post it on Facebook. We're saying that because, guys, I've only been doing this since November of 2020. I've not been in it that long. I've been in a little bit over a year. Our team numbers have been up and down December and January. That's okay. But I have to continue sponsoring. I've got to find people who want this as much as I do so that I can have them leech on to me and say, okay, what do I need to do? I want to make $50 a month. That's cool. You have to figure out your why in this business of why you're doing it. Why are you still here? If you've had dips in the last 5 months, why are you still here? You're doing it for a reason. You're still here for a reason. Dig within yourself to figure out what you want Cincy to be for you. Me, it's an scapegoat. I'm a mom, I'm a baker, I'm a chauffeur, I pay the bills, I go to the grocery store. This gives me something for me. I have never had a girls' trip ever until January of last year. I'm 36 years old and never been on a girls' trip away with a bunch of women with no children. That was what I liked, because that was just weird to just take a girls' trip. But doing it for my business, it was completely okay. I didn't feel guilty as a mother for leaving my kids behind. And so I got to enjoy it. So you're going to have to dig within yourself to figure out what you want this to do for you, and then figure out how to make it happen. And if you want to go slow, that's cool. If you want to run to the finish line, that's cool too. We have tons of people out there, even people that are higher than us, that have been doing this longer, that can help you do that. That's why we share these refocus groups, these training groups, because we are still learning from them. We don't ever stop learning. Just because we hit director, we did not stop training. We're still looking for that answer. There is no right or wrong answer. We just got to figure out that one person that's going to be like, hey, I did this and it worked. I'm going to try that. Oh my God, it worked. Or that didn't work. I'm going to stop doing that after 3 months. You've got to find that within the business and find your why that's going to get you fired up, because I want my husband to retire. That's a long 5-year goal. It's going to take a while, but I want to be able to save my money back so that I can put a down payment on a house. I'm tired of renting and paying somebody else's mortgage. So I need to make that money so that I can make that happen and buy my own house, not someone else's. So dig within yourself and find it.
The hard part about this, guys, with the Cincy business is most of you guys are probably either working an 8 to 5 job, or you're raising kids, or I don't know, life circumstances, but that's normally the two big things that people are doing, and doing Cincy on the side. So that is why we talk so much about your why, because it is so easy to give up on this type of business. And that's one thing that something like World Tour or SFR really opens your mind to. It's not that you're going to go and you're going to get brainwashed, or that you're going to go and have some grand revelation, but you go and you see the potential of what your life can be if you just continually work at a steady pace. Misty did it accelerated, like, because she's a bomb diggity. You don't have to do that. There are many people that have gotten further in Cincy business and are at the top just by being consistent and getting there at a slow pace. It's not like you got to go 24/7 gung ho. But like she's saying, if you want to do that, we'll match your speed. If you don't have a sponsor that's filling your needs as far as like an accountability partner, find someone else. There's the 3 of us directors that are glad to talk with you any day of the week. It fills our cup when you ask for help, because we want to help you guys. But you have to meet us halfway. That's a big thing. Misty, when I met her at World Tour, I didn't talk to her every day until July. That was from February to July that she just, anytime that she had questions or she needed help, she reached out and she asked. That's the biggest difference between success and failure, is if you want to succeed in this business, you have to be the one to take the step forward. You have to be the one to ask the question, and you have to be the one reaching out, because we can reach out and check on you guys, but that's our fire. That's us being excited. That's us seeing the potential in you. But until you see the potential in yourself, and usually going somewhere like SFR or World Tour where you see that everyday people are doing this and they're rocking it, and they're rocking it, I want to say easily. This job is simple if you let it be simple. It's just showing up. And so that's what those people do. And you realize how much potential that you have in yourself when you go to these type of events, and you realize what this business can do for your life. And so we get fired up and we see the potential in you, and we want to reach out and be like, hey guys, you want to do this? And, but that's our fire. So
But
you reaching out.
If you don't hit the ball back, I'm losing all my fire.
Yeah.
If I
So
message
you have-
you and you
you
don't
have
say
to-
nothing, the fire is gone.
Yeah. So you have to reach back and meet fire with fire. And that keeps all of our fires going, because us as leaders, it gets a little, I won't say it gets tiring, because we're so excited for you guys. When you give up on yourself, a little bit of us dies, because we're like, oh, I see so much potential in you. And so us as leaders, we take it on and we're like, what are we doing wrong? What can we do better? So meeting halfway, we're not your boss. We want you guys inspired. We want y'all empowered. We want you guys excited. And when y'all meet us halfway and we're working together as a team, because we're all a team, we're trying to build businesses. I want Bridget to have a $10,000 paycheck, and Amy to have a $10,000 paycheck, and Tamara, I don't want Tamara to have to cut another piece of hair. She doesn't want to have to cut another piece of hair. So like, I want this for every single one of you guys, but I can want it all day long for you. But you've got to learn how, when you're in this dip, how to believe in yourself and reach out for help and try new things and go through all the squiggly lines, so that we can all kind of get where we want to go. Even if it's not a $10,000 paycheck, even if it's just paying for your car payment, that you get where you want to go. So we didn't give Sam a chance to speak. She doesn't need to talk. It's okay. All right.
I do have a question though.
Okay, go ahead.
So if you could imagine your dream paycheck, what would you want it to be? No limits. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. If you had your dream paycheck, what would it look like? $2,000 a month. Is that what you said, Brittany?
10,000?
I like 2,000.
Yeah.
I like that. That's it. 2,000.
Okay.
That is your dream paycheck.
I was about to like not be greedy, and I was gonna say 8. I thought I was not being greedy. I want enough to where I can match my little Cincy paycheck with my husband's paycheck and have enough to vacation. So like 8 is my number, that my dream number.
Bridget.
I'm gonna go anywhere between 8 and 10, because that would be where we would be comfortable and my husband could retire and we could just be at home and be happy with the kids.
8 to 10,000.
Yes.
Now, answer honestly, do you think that that is possible in your business? Do you think that you can do that?
I think that I can, but I think that it's going to take time, a lot of time.
As long as you believe that you can do it, it'll happen. Put it out there into the world. I'm going to hit director by December the 31st of 2021. I hit it June of 2021. Put it out there, get a vision board. This is what you want, and you will make it happen. Even if it takes 5 years, if it takes 2 years, as long as you know that it's possible, it will happen. It's the part of, oh, I don't think I can do it. I hope that it's going to happen. I'm going to try. That's when you start disconnecting from it. As long as you know personally that you can do it and can get there, it will happen. I promise.
Thank you.
Camera. You're welcome.
My dream would be about 10,000. That way it would cover my husband's paycheck and mine, and I would don't have to cut another head of hair.
Do you think you can do it? Honestly.
Yes. Eventually, yes.
Eventually. Okay. Amy?
What did I hit?
You got
You're
it.
good. I can hear you.
I did something weird. Everything got bigger. I'm going to say 5,000. I don't want my
5,000?
husband to retire. We'll keep him at work.
She wants to vacation while he works.
It'd drive me crazy if he was here all the time.
I know.
Do you
Oh, no, I
think,
plan on
do you
putting my
think you
husband to
can
work.
do it?
Sure, eventually.
Okay. Brittany,
Yes.
dream paycheck.
I'm answered.
You put up numbers.
2,000.
2,000. Do you
Yeah.
think you can do that?
I think so.
Okay. As long as you can, as long as you know you can do it.
I
Lisa,
think so.
What about you, Lisa?
I don't know. So this is like per month. So I don't want to, I don't know. I do have a full-time job. I actually enjoy it. When I retire in 7 or 8 years, I'm going to have, pretty good benefits and stuff. So that's good. But I would still love like right around, I would say between 2 and 5, which is kind of low, but I'm okay with that. It's like, I'm comfortable with that and I'm okay with that. So I'm
Your
probably,
dream paycheck is your dream paycheck. Don't discount it. That's amazing.
And it's-
It is your dream paycheck, nobody else's.
and it's like, I don't, because when I retire, I'm going to retire, but as that's like 7 or 8 years from now. And I'd like to, definitely keep Scentsy and stuff. I love it. It's fun and stuff like that. So yeah, if I could do somewhere like that, just as a, part-time retirement gig, then yeah, that'd be awesome.
and that's giving you something for yourself outside of retirement. You're still getting all of these benefits from something that you've worked so hard for, but then you are able, because we're all able to do this in the business, is work it when we want to. As long as you're still showing up, even if you're doing it part-time now or then, we have SSDs that are literally working full-time jobs and still doing Scentsy full-time when they have to. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. They fit it in somewhere. They're sacrificing a whole bunch.
Right.
But that's okay, because that's your dream paycheck. And and I don't want to say this, if that's all you want to make, because that sounds horrible.
Right.
But if you're already getting like 5,000 in retirement, why would you want to make 10,000 a month? I'm not trying to pay in that kind of taxes. I'm just saying. But
Right.
I can completely relate to that, because we want to make 6 to 8. 8 would be more comfortable for us. But if I want to replace my husband's income, it's going to be right there about 6,000 a month to still be comfortable, because I want to go to Hobby Lobby. But if I want to go on vacations,
Like Bora
that
Bora.
Scentsy not paying for it, then I need like 8,000. So, I mean, don't cut yourself that 2,000 is too much. That is what you're comfortable with. And even now, you can do it now. So you know that you can do it later and still, girl, listen, you're going to build a team. You're going to have your 500 a month. You're not going to have to do nothing, because you're going to have 2,000 from your team, right? So then you only have to show up for your business on Facebook. No more parties. It's cool. I'm going to do all the little things. You're going to make your 500 and bam, you have a team. So they're going to make that money, right? And then you're just leading them.
Yeah, taking care of them.
Yep.
All right,
Leadership
Jessica, what about you?
My goal would be, I would love like 5,000. That would be my goal. Something that I could basically not be a dog groomer. I can just make my paycheck and be at my home with my kid.
I love that. I
That's
like it a
my-
lot. How about you, Sam? Dream paycheck?
Well, it used to be 5,000 till I did my budget last month and realized we spend a whole heck of a lot of money. So 10,000 would be comfortable for us.
Well,
20,000 if Robin retires.
yeah,
True, yes.
I will be honest. I have a lot of times where I don't think that 8,000 is possible. A lot of times. It seems so far away and so far in the distance. And honestly, to get to that point, it is contingent on building up a team. And that is the most challenging thing to do in this business, because you're relying on someone else to work hard right alongside with you, not just you busting your butt. And that is the hardest thing. So there are a lot of times where I don't feel like that's ever going to be possible. But then I look at how far I've come in 3 years, where I have a $2,000 paycheck and I have a team of almost 100, and I have people working alongside of me that enjoy this business. And I just think, where is that going to be 10 years from now when I just stay consistent with it? So there's doubts that creep in, that's for sure. But I firmly believe that if you sponsor people and I say serve them, if you don't put any burdens on them as, I need you to do this so I can make a paycheck, that's not why we lead. And that's not why we grow a team. If you're leading and you want every single person underneath you to have as much success as that you've seen, and you want their life to change, and you're leading with that love, I firmly believe that you will grow a team and that you'll be successful in this business, because I've seen it and I know it's possible. So I'm just walking every day and trusting in the things I need to trust in and building those relationships, and it'll get there. It'll be there one day. But my life has been changed just with our $2,000 paycheck, because we were living day to day on paychecks. So I'm very grateful for a $2,000 paycheck. I'm not like have to have the 8,000 now, but I know there's potential there. So that's what keeps me going. So sorry, guys. I feel like we really shifted subjects there and went into a whole different other area, but I kind of feel like it goes where it leads, and hopefully something that we said tonight kind of lights a fire underneath you guys. Maybe a little bit of belief in yourself and knowing that you can do this, and that if you're in that slump, just try to find that fire, believe in yourself, put all those doubts out of your mind. Do some of Sam's affirmations every morning that she makes us listen to. They work, even though we don't want to admit it. So, all right, guys, thank you all for joining. Next month, we are going to try to talk on something sponsoring. So hopefully we'll have, and we may have a little bit of a challenge afterwards. And please do not be intimidated by sponsoring. When you sponsor someone, yes, it is up to you to kind of make sure that they get a good start, but you have absolutely every tool that you need to sponsor someone and get them up and going, because you got yourself up and going. You know exactly what's needed. There's nothing special. There's no special program, no special guidance. You're just helping a friend get their business up and going just the way that you got yours. So don't be intimidated by sponsoring. I hope you guys will show up, and we'll try to have some things planned for you guys to help encourage you guys, because, hey, there's an incentive going on. And even though it's not some grand trip right now, just bragging rights that you earned a Cincy incentive is good enough. So y'all have a great week. If you need anything, please reach out. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you.